Hi, welcome back to this follow-up tutorial. If you remember at the end of last lesson, I left you with some blank views and I asked you to go and dimension them as you see here. Obviously you won't have a sectional view to do. While I was dimensioning my views myself, the views for the yoke were all fine, but as I came down to dimension this axle here, I noticed that there were some issues with dimensioning the small detail around the bottom left corner side of the axle here. So I've got a solution to those issues, and I'm going to go show what they are in Creo. So you can see here, if I zoom in on the, we'll call that the front view and the right side view, I've got most of the dimensions in there. The outside one's 10, a 6 diameter here, 28 length, spherical radius 7. But when I added all the dimensions for this sort of complex area in here, it became way too crowded. So what I've elected to do then is to add a view above here, which is an enlargement detail view. So basically you can see this A here with a circle around it. It's that area there has been like a snapshot taken of it. It's a detail, and I've placed it up here, which has then allowed me to add the dimensions onto this view to give clarity to the drawing. So to create a detail view, it's really simple. I might just delete this one first to go through the whole process with you. Let's delete that. Okay, so let's create a detail around this area here. So once you're in the Layout tab, come across to the right hand side, just underneath projection view, this says Detailed View. Click on Detailed View. Down the bottom it says to select a center point for detail on an existing view. So we zoom in and we find one of the edges of the existing view and make sure it pre-highlights blue. And this needs to be around the center of where we want to magnify. So click in the center there and this cross comes up. Then move your cursor away, and then with a series of left mouse clicks, we're just going to use the spline tool to create a circular form around it. Now you'll notice I'm not back to the beginning. When I get close back to the beginning of my spline, I don't try to connect it. I simply center mouse click my wheel, and it then creates a circle around there. And down the bottom of the page it tells me to now select the center point for the drawing view. So it's saying, where do you want to place this detail A? Well, I'm going to place mine above it. I click there and you can see it inserts it. Now it's automatically put it in at a scale of 2, which means it's twice as big as this. I'm going to make that 3, so I'm just going to double click onto it, open up scale, change the scale to 3, because I think it needs to be a bit bigger. And zoom in, zoom out. I'm going to remove that scale. And now I can go about actually putting in the missing dimensions onto here. So I'm also going to go into Annotate, Show Model Annotations. I'm going to select that center line once again. I might look at the dimensions, see if there's anything there that I can use. Not really. So just apply it, OK, or cancel I should say. And if I look down here, I need this spherical radius, I need this internal diameter here, and I need the distance between these shoulders. So go to my dimension tool. I'm going to choose this distance here first, drag away, might pull the size out to the right like that, center mouse click. Notice that the leader lines there's no gaps, so I need to come back and fix it up in a second. While I'm there, I'm also going to do this diameter, so from that line there, hold down the control key to the other line, drag it out. It's 4.5. And the last one is the spherical radius, so click once on this edge here, drag it away like so, and that should be the information that we need. Let's have a look. That one, and the distance between. Yep. Alright, so a little bit of editing here to clean this up. So I'm going to cancel the insertion method, deselect by left clicking again, then select one individual dimension, drag the leader lines so they're just shy or just clear of the outline. Those ones are fine. And this spherical radius here, I'm going to select it, right click, Properties, I'm going to change its display to the text orientation to be above extended elbow. And I'm going to grab that there. It's on the wrong side of the arrow, so right click on it, flip text. Now I've got that on the correct side. Okay, so that's a lot clearer. We can see there's a detail there. That A, I might just pull that a little bit further away. Just going to select that. I should be able to pull that away with my select tool. There it is there. And you can see that that A there now easily identifies our drawing up here, our detail. Okay, so that's putting a enlarged detail view in. The next thing to do on the drawing is to create a section of this wheel here. Now, a sectional view is used when we want to look inside an object to look at some details. This is a really basic example, but what I want to do is basically cut the wheel in half along this axis line here, remove this part, and then look in to see what's there. So rather than using hidden detail lines, we're going to see the parts that are cut and some outlines. The easiest way to do a sectional view is to actually open the part that we want to create sectioned in 3D and add a sectioning plane to it. So I'll do that by selecting the part. So if I selected this part, oops, cancel, yes, sorry. If I was to be in Layout tab, sorry, and if I selected the axle, oh no, we need to be in, sorry, we need to select the part from drawing models. So you can see over here at the moment that the wheel is actually the part that I've got selected here, but if that wasn't highlighted here in the model tree, I'd have to go to drawing models, set model, and then change it there. You can see it changes over in the model tree. So just set model again. I'm going to use the wheel. Done, return. So this is just me getting so I can actually open up this wheel in 3D. Alright, so we're going to put a sectioning plane through the center of the wheel so that we can create a sectional view here. So let's go over to the part. You can see I'll click onto it. Right click and click open. What that does, it guarantees is that it opens this wheel, which is part of those drawings. Once you've done that, probably the easiest thing to do is to turn your work planes on. Then come up to the View tab across the top here, and one of the options there is Section. Just click on the arrow below the image, and you'll notice that there are a number of different ways of sectioning: planar, cross, direction, Y direction, Z, offset, and zone. Let's just choose the simple one, planar, and then all we need to do is to simply select a plane that's cutting through the middle. So I'm going to select this vertical plane here, and then you can see that it's, oh, it's interesting, I might have selected the wrong planes. I might choose that one there. Where are you? Okay, I've selected that plane. Something's not quite right. I'm going to try that again. Okay, there it is, the plane there. I'm just going to delete that. Something's gone a bit weird. Okay, make sure I've got the right plane. Try that again. Section, planar, and I should be able to select this plane, pre-highlight in blue. Okay, interesting enough, it's actually giving me an offset here. If you see here, it's actually offset at 15 millimeters to that plane. We don't want an offset at 15, we want that to be through the plane. So you've got the options up here. So through or offset. So we're going to go through that plane. I'm happy with that, so I just tick the box OK. That's only a viewing mode. It's not actually removing it in 3D, it's just for viewing purposes. And the other thing you'll see here is that it's come up with a name that's just default, XSC, blah 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 blah. So what we might do before we go to the drawing mode is we might just select that and rename that plane. So I'm just going to call it a B, capital B, hit enter. Now let's go back to the drawing. So to go back to the drawing, we use this icon up here that says Windows, and then click onto the drawing and it makes it active. And this is the view that we're actually going to make sectional. So I'm just going to turn those work planes off. They're a bit confusing. Zoom in, zoom out. And I'm going to, in the Layout tab, double click onto the view that I wish to turn into a sectional view. Once I've done that, I open up its properties, come down to the category of section. It currently says there's no section, so let's add one, 2D cross section. Let's hit the plus symbol, and the one I just created was the section B. So click on B. Nothing seems to have happened yet until I hit the apply button. When you hit the apply button, you can then see these cross-hatching lines going across the view to represent where the solid material of the wheel is being cut. Where there is no cross-hatching represents that this is hollow or there is no solid there, which is the purpose of our sectional view. So we can click OK, and there's something else we need to change here on this view. There's a basic rule, or I suppose an Australian standard rule, that if you create a sectional view, there should be no hidden detail on that view as well, because the whole idea of sectioning something is to reveal interior detail. So let's double click on that view again, and under view display this time you must change it from hidden detail to no hidden. Apply and OK. Okay, so we now have our section, and the last thing to do is to add the line that represents where it's cut. So to add the section line, we can simply select the section view, right click, add arrows, and then choose the view you want the arrows to go onto. So I'm going to choose this view here, and you can see now we've got this line BB, which represents where the object was cut by that plane. That BB looks a little bit too far away for me. I'm just going to drag it down there, and I'm going to grab the end and drag it up. That looks a lot neater to me. Maybe a little bit further out. And I think we're just about ready to now publish the drawing. Let's have a look. Sectioned, that's done. Oh, and the last thing to do, of course, is to muck around with colour. So the last thing to do, and this may or may not be applicable, let's see what these images look like with colour and dimensions. Alright, so I'm going to choose the yoke first, double click onto it, choose view display, and this time instead of choosing hidden, choose follow environment and click apply and OK. Now you can see here that the colour that this object was rendered in has now come through onto the page. And you might say to yourself, well, so I don't really know what that looks like until I see this as a PDF. So I'm going to test what that looks like by going File, Save As, Quick Export, and it does a quick export, and we can see here now, if I use my zoom, does that enhance or does it make the drawing look worse with colour? It's probably a bit difficult to decipher where the 6 and the 4.5 are. In actual fact, just realised those should probably be over here anyway. So for me, this drawing probably doesn't really need colour. I don't think it really is any advantage of colour. So I'm just going to close that one, go back to Creo, and I think I might just go back to the original just hidden lines, and my view's being weird. Okay, there we go. View display, change it from follow environment back to hidden, click apply and OK. Alright, and then we can go File, Save As, Export or Quick Export, PDF, Export, give it a name, we'll detail poorly 2017 into the there. Yes, I want to override that one, and we can see there's that drawing there. Okay, let's see if you can get that done. That's the first time you've created a multi-part detailed drawing. Good luck.